Hello, on this Marcel Stokes with your afternoon update today. You can see we have numerous areas of possible severe thunderstorms today. You can see we have a risk around Casper and Cheyenne, Wyoming, even parts of northern Colorado and parts of western Nebraska. It's under the risk today. There also is an broad risk of a slight risk all the way from the Oklahoma Panhandle all the way to Wichita, Omaha, Des Moines, Peoria, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, the Ohio River Valley, all the way up into the Maine area. The Storm Prediction Center has recently now issued a moderate risk over parts of Pennsylvania up into the upstate New York, around Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, the Albany area, the Scranton, Springfield, Boston, even parts of New York City. You're under the risk. You need to be on the lookout today as this line will press through today with winds possibly exceeding 65 to 75, maybe even a little bit stronger, over hurricane force. This is the wrong map. I'm just gonna go. Let me go. Give me 1 minute. I'm actually gonna have to go back and get the right storm report map from yesterday. Let's see if I can get that back. In 1 minute. There we are. Alright, here's the storm reports from yesterday. You can see we actually had a good amount of wind reports around that complex that pushed through Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and parts of Illinois yesterday, and Indiana. We had reports of nearly 100 miles an hour winds were possible with some of these storms, as the National Weather Service were saying. Had reports of winds sustained possibly over 80 miles an hour over parts of eastern parts of Iowa and southwestern Minnesota, where the worst of the storms were. They begin to weaken as they push east, as they begin to head toward Milwaukee. They begin to collapse, and they weaken slightly over the Great Lakes. But as they push back into Grand Rapids, they begin to fire back up and begin to weaken. We actually had a tornado warning over parts of northern parts of Michigan late overnight last night, before the storms began to weaken as they moved to Detroit, but still did have enough energy to produce some wind damage around that area. We had a complex moving from Canada yesterday, which produced showers and thunderstorms over parts of the Northeast yesterday. Several complexes moved through, producing massive wind damage and large hail reports over that area. This could be a repeat situation for the Northeast again, as we head into later on this afternoon into the evening. You can see we have pop-up severe thunderstorm reports with this summertime thunderstorms developing over parts of the Southeast, the Carolinas, parts of Mississippi, the Gulf Coast, into Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Kansas, all the way up into Wyoming. Here's newly formed major Hurricane Adrian right now. Winds as of the 11 a.m. Eastern Time advisory have winds right now at 115 miles an hour. Wouldn't be surprised if it maybe taken down a little bit, because it looks like the eye is beginning to dissipate a little bit. It's beginning to go through an eye replacement cycle, which means that the eye is going to replace, possibly may try and form a new one, but it's running out of time as it begins to head into the northwest at a slow pace. So it may have time for a new eye, but it's running out of time because it's going to head into more colder waters, and this should begin to weaken sometime tomorrow. Here's the hurricane forecast by the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Still calling it for a major hurricane all the way up into dawn tomorrow, before weakening slightly as it begins to take that turn off to the west-northwest and begin to take a turn to the northwest as we head into Sunday, and should become a depression as we head into morning on Tuesday morning, as a depression begins a remnant low. After that, as it begins to move into the Gulf and to move into the Pacific Ocean, it begins to get swept up by a trough and moves into some much colder and stable air. One more map I want to show you here is the Google Earth Hurricane Map. It's a pretty cool piece of technology with this. It shows every computer model that detects hurricanes. You see a majority of them, well, actually all of them are in good agreement with turning off to the northwest and then possibly to the west-northwest. A few of the outlier models want to carry it possibly up to Gulf of California and parts of Cabo San Lucas and even parts of western Mexico. Likely not going to happen. It appears the pattern is going to shift and it's begin to take that turn to the northwest and then dissipate as we head into mid part of next week. So right now, this storm is going to be a threat to anyone. Looks like right now it's probably just going to be a fish storm. And if you want to know, the tropics and the Atlantic are pretty quiet right now, just as from showers and thunderstorms we're watching over parts of Haiti. Looks like that trough of axis for the heaviest rain is like it's leaving that area. We'll continue to watch that for you. But once again, stay tuned here for the latest updates.